I want to talk a little bit about the importance of weight aids when we're riding lateral movements in the sitting trot. And of course, in all other gaits, they're the same. But this is what I'm going to show you here in a moment. It's really important to remember where the horse has to take up more weight when we're asking him or her to perform these exercises. And when I talk about more weight, of course, I'm talking about their hind end. So in the shoulder in, the haunches are on the track and the shoulder gets displaced inward. And that means that the inside hind leg has to push off a little harder to make that happen, to keep the horse balanced on that line that we're traveling. And so that means that in shoulder in, we want to sit a little bit more to the outside, so we don't add to the extra strength the horse needs, or to that pressure that it needs to manage by sitting too much to the inside. And so that's really, really important. Before, you do very much in the sitting trot anyway, try these things out in the walk, and have a look at one of my other videos. There's more in that video on how to ride these things in the walk. But in the sitting trot, you don't have a whole lot of time to think about it, just because of the pure speed of it all. And so it's good to reflect a little bit before you get started. And so, as I said, shoulder in, shoulders of the horse get displaced inward. Inside hind leg needs to take up more weight. Therefore, we sit a little bit more with our weight to the outside of the saddle. And haunches in, it's the opposite way. Haunches in, the haunches get displaced to the inside of the track while the front end of the horse stays on the track. And the outside hind leg has to take up more weight. So that means we don't want to sit to the outside so heavy. We want to sit to the inside. And that not only helps the horse to stay in that movement for any length of time, but it's also coincides with the reflex buttons of the horse for haunches in or haunches out. If you just ride your horse straight on a straight line for a little while, you push a little bit more, either with your inside or your outside seat bone down in the saddle, you will notice that to whichever side you're adding more weight, the haunches come in, or the haunches come out. And then, you're doing two things at the same time. You're activating that reflex button, and at the same time, you're helping the horse to take up more weight where it matters to him or her. So that's about the weight aids. The legs in the shoulder in. Of course, the inside leg stays by the girth. The outside leg is a little bit farther back. Inside leg is the main predominant driving tool. Outside leg is more of a supporting aid. And then in haunches in, you're going to ride with the inside leg staying by the girth and the outside leg is back. But it is the outside leg that actually gives also a little bit of rhythm in the haunches in. And it's not so much just, the inside leg that's driving. The outside leg also helps the horse understand at which angle you want to travel. And so I'm going to start with that. I'm going to go and take my horse here into a little bit of a sitting trot. And I will show you a little bit what that looks like in motion. So we're going to go into just a nice, even working trot. And then, of course, when you start wanting to play with the lateral movements, you want to condense the trot a little bit, meaning collect a tiny little bit. And then you're going to ride straight, displace inward the shoulders, sit to the left, look straight ahead. Right leg is the one that is helping the horse to stay in this rhythm that we're asking for. And then before we come to the end of the long side, straighten the horse again. So a nice clean corner. And we'll do it again on the next long side. Just a little bit of displacing the shoulder inward, sitting to the left. Right leg is predominantly driving, left leg is back. The horse is not particularly bent yet. I'm not talking about that a lot. Just talking about displacing the horse on this particular angle. Maybe have a little bit of extra flexion on the inside. Just have a try, have a look at what this would look like with your horse. So again, sit to the left, right leg. Right leg is always the one that is saying here, 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 come, 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 while I look straight ahead. My head, where my head is tilted or looking, also makes a big difference. And so I'm going to do it here one more time. You can see while I'm riding the shoulder in, I'm looking straight ahead. I don't look through my horse's ears as I would normally if I ride a linear pattern. I ride straight ahead, and that also helps the horse to stay on this angle while I'm anchoring or sort of putting more weight into his hind end. So now I'm going to ride haunches in. Haunches in, I'm going to sit to the inside. Outside leg is back a little bit. And I'm just going to give a little bit of extra rhythm with the outside leg, which is normally the supportive leg. The inside leg gives, of course, rhythmic impulse as the main driving aid. And here we go again. So try to keep your shoulders very even, try not to collapse in one hip or another. Here we go again, haunches in. The front end of the horse stays on a straight line while the horse reacts to my increased pressure on my inside bone, seat bone. And then I can't talk as fast as I'm riding. So we'll do it here one more time. Just think with me as you're watching this. Think you're sitting on your horse. Inside seat bone gets more weighted. And outside leg is a little bit back. Both legs give rhythmic impulses. And just think how it doesn't have to be a lot of displacement, but just that's all we need for now. So I'm going to go ahead and do it one more time down this long side. Before I come down the center line, I'll show you a little bit of half pass in this context too. And so here's one more time, haunches in. And then I'm going to straighten before I come to the corner. And then I'm going to go down the center line, basically riding haunches in across the diagonal a little bit. So I sit to the inside, to the right. Haunches in. Aids are the same, except I'm going to bring the haunches over a little bit more. And all the while I'm trying not to let the haunches lead, because a half pass, of course, is always only correct when the shoulders are leading. So I'm going to sit to the left, right leg is back, inside leg stays by the girth. I'm going to look in the direction that I'm traveling, and here's my half pass. And again, think of it as just an extension of the haunches in practice. Imagine there's a diagonal line that your horse's front end is traveling on, and you're riding towards what would be B or E. There you go. Come, come, come. So, very good. I'm going to go straight again. And just enjoy, the rhythmic gymnasticizing effect this exercise has on the horse. I'm going to do it again here. Sit to the left. Right leg, right leg, right leg also helps, especially to the side where the horse might not be quite so comfortable going because of his or her natural unevenness. But that's pretty much the demonstration I wanted to give to you for a moment and let you hear and let you understand what I'm thinking and what I'm doing while I'm riding these exercises. And sometimes it's always helped me when I go to my mentors and I ride in Germany and they ride and they talk while they're riding to me, and it's just such an incredible translation, because basically what you're doing, you're riding with whoever you're watching while your brain absorbs the verbal narrative of what's going on physically. And of course mentally, when you think about the tone that this all happens in, and it's always friendly, it's always kind. If it doesn't work at the first time or the first few times when you try it, and just always think we're on a journey together, on an incredibly privileged and wonderful journey. And all of these things, if they don't work right away, or they're not quite written to perfection, which they hardly ever are, just enjoy the time with your horse and say, hey, this is just something else we're going to try together. If you can do it by yourself, wonderful. practice as much as you can without, getting yourself or your horse into a pretzel. But, always feel free to reach out to a trainer, a professional that could give you the real-time pointers for when you're riding. But anyway, so much for this today. Thank you for watching. Hope you're having fun with all of this.